Well, it's an interesting story. It tells you that the government will go as far as they possibly can. As a matter of fact, if we went to a silver-based currency or whatever we went to, they're still going to tax you, and you got to fight them back all the time. And I guess when Thomas Jefferson says the least government is the one that governs best, the smallest government, you're right. You're right, because basically it's a scam. They're elitist welfare bums that are taking as much as they possibly can from the people. Anyway, this is an article that it comes from a Washington State representative, not Washington, D.C., but Washington State. He says to tax bicyclists for exhaling CO2 when they ride. Amazing, huh? Well, it's like, can you get them? Should you let them get away with this? Hell no. That's what I say. He goes, one Washington lawmaker. I'll just blow this up a little bit more. It goes, one Washington lawmaker is making a twisted argument in support of a new fee, $25 applied to every time a bike is sold over $500 in the state of Washington. Representative Ed Orcutt wrote in an email to his bike shop that CO2 that bicyclists exhale while riding is just one of the reasons he supports the bike tax. He goes, since CO2 is deemed a greenhouse gas and a pollutant, bicyclists are actually polluting when they ride, Orcutt wrote. And I guess politicians are polluting when they're talking, right? They're breathing. I mean, the more they talk, the more they pollute. So what the hell, right? Therefore, bicyclists should pay taxes to help the environment as well as the roads. And here's his full email below. If I get down to it here. It's kind of like blown up, so. He goes on to state, he says, also, you claim that it's environmentally friendly to ride a bike, but if I'm not mistaken, a cyclist has an increased heart rate and respiration. That means the act of riding a bicycle results in greater emissions of carbon dioxide from the rider. Since CO2 is deemed to be a greenhouse gas and pollutant, bicyclists are actually polluting the ride as they ride. So I guess if you take this thing longer than that, you could say people are just breathing and they're freaking ruining the earth, including politicians, I guess. But as a warning, you think you win the fight. I guess it's like internal vigilance, but you shouldn't be too overly worked up or emotional about things. But it's amazing these guys get in office. I don't know. I mean, I think somebody should just say, "Hey, buddy, you're out of there." That's the deal. Throw him out of office and tell him you can't breathe because he's wrecking the air. Politicians shouldn't be allowed to breathe. They're ruining the environment. So tax the hell out of them. Back charge them basically. They get a salary, then you back charge them. You take it away because they're breathing. So there you go to the politicians. And I guess, you got to have the means to enforce it. So I don't know. Like I says, back in the old days when you even had sheep and you had goats and you had all this other stuff going on, they'll tax that. So basically, limited government is all you need. The smallest government that works is all you need because these guys are just a bunch of crooks. So, to hell with them.